Hello and everyone, welcome to TBC News. Our top stories. Call for Africa to act on anti-corruption commitments. Tanzania set to present voluntary national reviews on SDGs. Good evening, I am Faida Ngaga. You can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBConline. Also get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook and Twitter pages at TBConline. President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan says corruption is one of the enormous obstacles to development in Africa, weakening institutional systems and affecting plans and strategies of the economy. President Dr. Samia made the remarks during the climax of Continental Symposium on African Union Convention on Preventing and Combating Corruption in Africa, held at AICC in Arusha. Here's a report by Sechelela Kongola, read to you by Teddy Mparinyanga.
It is the climax of the African Anti-Corruption Week and culmination of the Anti-Graft Day, which is marked in Africa every 11th of July every year, accompanied by various exhibitions that provide education to the mass on the fight against corruption. President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan says Tanzania has been able to save more than 139 billion shillings from inappropriate spendings as the result of the fight against corruption.
Miaka kama mitatu hivi.
For almost 3 years, we were able to save and control the use of inappropriate funds that were worth more than 139 billion Tanzanian shillings, which is a very big amount for public funds. If you ask me what I would do with such an amount of money, I would use it to purchase medical supplies so that all the hospitals and health centers I have established can be equipped. These efforts are continuous so that we can minimize the loss of funds.
Zisipotee katika mikono hiyo.
Dr. Samia adds that there is a need for various groups, including politicians, to learn from successful countries on how to prevent and combat corruption.
Kwa kiasi kikubwa wanasiasa tunahusika kwenye jambo hili.
We politicians are involved in this issue. We should also go and see what happened, and when we come back, our organizations such as CAG, DPP and others should investigate. Each one of us should ask ourselves, have we done enough?
Vimefanya vipi mpaka ikawezesha hivyo?
The Director General of Prevention and Combating of Corruption Bureau, PCCB, Salum Hamdan, says the importance of the conference has been to review and discuss the achievements of 20 years of the African Union Agreement to prevent and combat corruption.
Miaka 20 ya utekelezaji wa mkataba.
20 years of the implementation of African Union Convention on Preventing and Combating Corruption, effects of corruption in the education sector and the experiences from member states, the research that has been done to combat and prevent corruption.
Here, the minister responsible for public service management and good governance reflects on the achievements of the Continental Symposium.
Stakeholders have exchanged the experiences. The goal was to direct attention to the issue of assets recovery, an issue that has been the main priority of the implementation of the African Union Convention on Preventing and Combating Corruption.
Some of the stakeholders who attended the summit elaborate other means and systems that can be used to continue to prevent corruption.
Today, you can just log into the internet and request for a license, make payments by requesting a control number. Several things can be done. So it is evident that we have made a very big step. It is important for the media to showcase the efforts we have made towards fighting against corruption.
Let us accept that corruption is bad. Let us accept it without looking for the someone to blame. We will reach a better stage.
Now from Arusha, let's head over to Zanzibar, where the president of Zanzibar, Dr. Hussein Ali Mwinyi, says promoting investment remains key to Zanzibar's economy. Dr. Mwinyi made the remarks at the State House in Zanzibar when he met and held talks with the newly appointed Tanzanian ambassador to Turkey, Idi Saif Bakari. Here are more details.
Dr. Mwinyi says Turkey is an economically developed nation, so he insists the ambassador to maximize on the positive bilateral relations to boost economic diplomacy and explore best means to cooperate in industrial investment.
Kama tunavyofahamu, nchi ya Uturuki ni nchi ambayo
As we know, Turkey is one of the countries that are at the forefront of industrial development. My advice to you that when you're in Turkey, make contact with businessmen so we can find investors in the industrial area and areas where our colleagues have already taken steps. Instead of buying from them, it would be good if we pursued them to produce here in our country.
Kuzalisha hapa nchini.
He directs the ambassador to encourage Turkish business community to come to Tanzania, including Zanzibar, to invest and open factories for the production of various products. On the tourism sector, President Dr. Mwinyi instructs Ambassador Bakari to put more emphasis to persuade the Turkish airline that makes direct flights to the country from Turkey to promote tourism.
Eneo la pili ni eneo la utalii.
Let's put our energy into promoting our tourism, especially beach tourism, heritage tourism, and zoos on mainland Tanzania. Considering that we currently have direct flights from Turkey to mainland Tanzania and Zanzibar, we wish you all the best as you commence your responsibilities, but we know very well that there is a great opportunity to collaborate with them in various economic matters, and the major responsibility you have as our representative is to maintain our economic diplomacy.
On the other hand, Ambassador Idi Bakari promises Dr. Mwinyi and Tanzanians to maximize on the economic opportunities in the Turkey markets by creating opportunities for Tanzanian products to the markets, including the cotton crop.
Uturuki ni nchi ambayo sasa hivi inaongoza katika uzalishaji wa nguo.
Turkey is leading country in the production of clothes that need raw materials from Tanzania. For that reason, Tanzania has a great opportunity to see the importance of cotton production in Turkish market.
Ambassador Idi Saif Bakari was appointed on April 5th by the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, to be an ambassador of Tanzania in Turkey. Before the appointment, he was the Consul General in Dubai.
The permanent representative of Tanzania to the United Nations, Ambassador Hussein Katanga, says Tanzania is to present the voluntary national reviews of the implementation of Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, at the United Nations High-Level Political Forum on Sustainable Development on July 18th in New York, USA. Apasiringo has more.
Ambassador Hussein Katanga says this will be the second time for Tanzania to present the review, as the first time was in 2019. He insists the high-level political forum on sustainable development is important because Tanzania will have the opportunity to explain the opportunities and challenges encountered during the implementation of the SDGs and also gain experience from other 39 countries that will also present to the forum.
Tumepewa fursa kati ya nchi.
We are granted an opportunity out of 193 countries, and we will present our report on 18th of July. We are happy that Tanzania has done a great job, and this will be the second time because Tanzania's system is unique, and the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which involves health, safety, and water, are included in long and short-term national plans. So its implementation becomes easier because of the procedures integrated in the normal procedures.
Katanga asserts that Tanzania has made great strides economically and socially, especially in the areas of education, health, water, peace, and security of the country.
If you want to know things are going well in your country, you must come to such a place and listen and learn from others on issues of education, health, water, security, and peace. Tanzania has made a huge step forward compared to other African countries. We might be struggling in terms of economic issues, but the type of economy we are fighting for will come to redeem other sectors such as health and security, among others, because individual and district economic growth will lead to an increase in the country's economic growth. Even statistically, we are among the top 10 economies in Africa. Eventually, we will enter the top 5 and one day be at the top.
Minister of Finance, Dr. Mwigulu Nchemba, will present the reviews on behalf of the government.
Now from New York, let's come back to Tanzania, where the Muhimbili University of Health and Allied Sciences has been rated number 3 from 121 health institutions and universities in sub-Saharan Africa. This is after 2 South African universities, the University of Witwatersrand and the University of Johannesburg, which are ranked 1st and 2nd respectively. Emmanuel Samuel has more details.
Journalists in Dar es Salaam. The acting vice-chancellor of MOHAS, Professor Polnari Kamhabwa, says a number of strategic plans and policies that were put in place to improve teaching, learning and research implemented at the university over the years has led to such achievement.
The ranking covers elements of teaching, impact and research through exploring 5 key areas, which are resources and financing, access of education and fairness, teaching skills, student engagement, and the impact of research in the African continent. We pledge that we continue working hard to make sure that we maintain this ranking. And we believe through this one also will make MUHAS graduate employable in different organizations.
Professor Kamhabwe adds that another strategy that has boosted the performance of MUHAS is mobilization of the university staff and students to publish their research works in quality peer-reviewed journals which can be accessible globally.
So most of the publication from staff at MUHAS and our collaborators, they have been able to be published in international journals. So through these research projects and programs, we have been able to produce publications. And annually, we are producing about 450 to 500 scientific publications. And this is a high number compared to the number of staff that we currently have.
I had a conversation with some of the students from the Muhimbili University of Health and Allied Sciences, and they have their comment.
My promise is to start hard, first of all, work on scientific studies to ensure that our studies bring impact to our society.
We believe that this ranking is going to be of great importance in our career development as well as opportunities, in getting opportunities in various international organizations.
This makes us students to be more proud and to learn more, studying more and conduct more researches that will bring positive impacts to our society.
The financial support provided by the government of Tanzania has made this dream of the MUHAS University become true. Reporting from Dar es Salaam, Emmanuel Samuel, TBC News.
Thank you, Emmanuel, for that report. Now let's take a look at the fisheries sector, where the Minister of Blue Economy and Fisheries of Zanzibar, Suleiman Makame, says fishery resources are crucial to the national development and called on all stakeholders in the sector, including the fishermen, to avoid illegal fishing so as to protect the respective natural resources. It's a report by John Matthews, brought to you by Teddy Mparinyanga.
Activities are gaining momentum day by day in the country. Here is the ferry market where fishing activities are conducted every day, but we are here to find out how is the real situation of protecting fishery resources. Leading the reception of a ship of marine researchers from Norway is the Minister of the Blue Economy and Fisheries Zanzibar. Ambassador of Norway to Tanzania says fishing is one of the most important sectors in Tanzania.
Tanzania has bold plans for a blue future and for the role of the seas and oceans in the future development of the country. We know from experience that the most efficient and effective use of marine resources must be long-term and sustainable. Sustainability demands that we plan ahead, and to plan ahead, we need the highest quality of data.
The representative of Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, Dr. Nyibanyi Tipo, says the organization has been playing a crucial role in Tanzania.
Fisheries Financing Program has made significant progress in strengthening the capacity of Tanzania in
Minister of Blue Economy and Fisheries of Zanzibar, Suleiman Makame, emphasizes on avoiding illegal fishing in order to continue to protect the fishery resources.
Fishing plays a vital role in both income generation and nutrition, not only in Tanzania, but also globally. It is estimated that around a quarter of Tanzanian population relies on fishing, either for sustenance or livelihood. The fishing sector provides direct employment over 197,763 individuals and supports an additional of 4.5 million jobs in the value chain. Additionally, it contributes significantly to the country's economy, accounting for 1.8% of the gross domestic production, GDP.
Minister Makame says the fishery industry remains to be an important sector and creating jobs for the youth.
The fishing sector provides direct employment over 763 individuals and supports an additional of 4.5 million jobs in the value chain.
The American ambassador to Tanzania, Michael Battle, has advised Tanzanians to have a culture of networking with different groups of people in order to promote their business markets. He was opening the Academy for Women Entrepreneurs Summit and praised the efforts they made through the training they received. My colleague, Lulua Mohammed, attended the opening and has prepared the following report.
It is the Summit for Women Entrepreneurs who received training through the Academy for Women Entrepreneurs funded by the American Embassy in Tanzania. Opening the conference, the U.S. Ambassador to Tanzania, Michael Battle, says that it is crucial for entrepreneurs to create new contacts by interacting with various groups and promote their businesses in order to secure new markets.
In part because of the similarities that each of you share with each other and the experiences that you can build upon by collaborating closely with one another. We talk about networking, and I encourage each of you to make at least 5 new friends today, people that you have not met before. Learn from them, learn from their experience, and understand that just as you stand on the shoulders of those who have preceded you, you have an obligation to become the shoulder for those who will follow you.
On their part, some of the beneficiaries of the training provided by AWE explain how they have been empowered to develop their businesses after the training.
Our key expectations after the end of the program, of course, is it has already been met. In part, we expect to network heavily, and we believe it's a good avenue for advancing regional trade. We've been discussing about this. For us, this is actually putting to action what we've talked for very long. So one of our expectations is to be able to foster regional trade. 2 is to be able to enhance our networks and learn, because we have variety of speakers that are lined up for us regionally and from abroad.
We have learned a lot concerning marketing, concerning on how to position our businesses, and connection that we have got from our network.
My business was only 2 years old by that time, so doing the program actually helped me to persevere and remain strong and have resilience in my business. It also taught me a lot about being empowered as a woman, because business for women is actually a different journey than for men.
The Academy for Women Entrepreneurs marks 4 years since its establishment, where more than 100 women from Africa and more than 25,000 women worldwide have been empowered economically, including these women here from Tanzania, Rwanda, Uganda, and Kenya. Reporting from Dar es Salaam, Lulua Mohammed, TBC.
Thank you, Lulua Mohammed, for that report. The Chief Business Officer for the Ministry of Industry and Trade, Sekela Mwaisela, says the government will continue to support businessmen and women to find markets within the African Continental Free Trade Area. She made the affirmation in Dar es Salaam on a special training involving businessmen and women aimed to build capacity in international business.
The safety needed for the country to achieve the intended objective. We are extremely very optimistic that Tanzania is going also to achieve, because we have already started trading. Our business community have already exported about 27 containers to Algeria for the Robusta coffee, and still there is a process engaging with other markets for some of other products which is prohibited, like tobacco, taking to Egypt and so on. And our expectation is that to equip the business people, they get knowledge, and they're now going to think on how to strategize to export it under CFTA.
UNDP Representative Miriam Mondosha says her organization is delighted with the policies set, and the training will benefit the participants to improve their businesses, a comment that is supported by some of the participants.
To the government of Tanzania is ensuring that the country really focuses on the priority areas that it wants to engage as it looks at the African market.
Today's workshop has been a very educative workshop in educating us and giving us knowledge regarding the African Continental Free Trade Area and the competition we'll be facing, rules and regulations of the game, and how to compete with each other, and dispute resolutions, plus intellectual property rights, and everything which we require to know about the trade. In fact, Tanzanian government has done a very good job of signing the free trade agreement, African Continental Free Trade Area, so that Tanzanian companies can compete and can export into those markets.
Now let's take a look at other stories. The US-based medical technology company Gradient Health Systems has donated 3 modern ventilators worth 105 million shillings to the Muhimbili National Hospital to support treatments of women and children at the National Hospital. Receiving the support, the executive director of Muhimbili, Professor Mohamed Janabi, says the modern ventilators will be of great significance to the Muhimbili National Hospital.
Machines have got a lot of significance to us. According to WHO, 10% of your bed capacity, which ours is 1,500 beds, is supposed to be ICU bed. So any donation of ventilators to us means a lot. And as he said before, is a ventilator which can be used from neonates, who are kids with less than 0 to 30 days of age, up to adults. And we know the Millennium Goals, one of the Millennium Goals is reduction of neonatal and infant mortality. So I think the machine is going to play a great role to us.
On the other hand, the Gradient Health Systems country representative Ibrahim Bakari says the 3 ventilator machines are part of various support the US-based company has been extending to the health sector in Tanzania.
In different settings, starting from emergency, intra-transport, as well as intensive care unit. And it covers a wide range of use, starting from neonate to adult. So it offers a lot of support to the hospital like Muhimbili.
Now, let's take a look at today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania, BOT. Don't miss TBC News every weekday to know all the latest in exchange rates. Time now for all the latest in international news. And here's international news compiled by Ramadan Mpenda and read to you by Apasia Bringo.
Sudan's government refused to participate in mediation meeting organized by the Intergovernmental Authority on Development in Eastern Africa, IGAD, in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, after accusing Kenya of bias. Sudan's foreign ministry had asked for Kenyan President William Ruto to be replaced as the chairman in particular mediation meeting because of his partiality that has been raised by the Sudan's government. The Rapid Support Forces, RSF, has already sent a representative to the IGAD meeting. The meeting chaired by Kenya's president included Regional African Union Commissioner for Political Affairs, Peace and Security, and international guests such as representatives of the UN Humanitarian Agency, the European Union, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, the USA, and the United Kingdom. Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi is going on his first tour of Africa, which aims to expand political and economic relations across the continent. According to state-run media, President Raisi was scheduled to depart Tehran on Tuesday for a trip that will take him to Kenya, Uganda, and Zimbabwe in the first by an Iranian president to Africa in 11 years. Kenya's foreign ministry has said that Raisi was scheduled to arrive, but a change was made to receive him on Wednesday in order to finalize memorandum of understanding that are expected to be signed. And Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has agreed to back Sweden's bid to join NATO after a year of blocking the move, citing Turkish security concerns. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg announced that Erdogan agreed to forward Sweden's membership bid to Turkey's parliament. NATO membership requires the approval of all the military alliance's members. Turkey has held up Sweden's NATO accession since last year, accusing Sweden of harboring Kurdish activists that Turkey regards them as terrorists.
That was international news. Sports news up next. In sports news, the Simba Sports Club head coach Roberto Oliveira says establishing a sports camp in Turkey will improve players' technical and physical abilities ready to compete for titles in the coming season.
Step by step. It's not one good moment for talk about the everything. Okay, every week I go check answer of the player. Okay, step by step I go building. We go start with 11 players. Okay, because it's very important, and continue the same. Play offensive. Simba don't like play behind. Okay, every time our objective will be victory, to be champion, good performance in Champions League, and because Simba is big club, we need to respect. You need to respect this point. It's very important for me.
The squad has traveled to Turkey for a pre-season camp, gearing up for the 2023-2024 new season, contesting for African Super Cup, African Champions League, NBC Premier League, and TFF Confederation Cup. In other sports news, the Tanzania Rugby Union TRU General Secretary Anthony Dawa says the training they have received from the African rugby instructor will equip Tanzanian rugby players with better qualities from grassroots, where they believe it is the basis for the growth of any game, a comment which is supported by the African rugby instructor Robert Bwali.
Tanzania Rugby Union is on its way to start a schools and university league. We believe with this course that has been going on, now we have a big number of coaches that can go into these particular schools or higher learning institutions in order for them to preach or teach the sport in schools, and that is where the grassroots is. So from this coaching and refereeing course, we are able to have a number of coaches that can go into schools and make sure that the sport is taught, and then the league can be played. So it is of a great opportunity and great benefit to the Tanzania Rugby Union.
What we've decided is let us also train match officials, so that if the coaches and players are giving 100%, even the match officials are giving 100%, so they are skilled and then they know what exactly to do when there's a game.
The 4-day training in the classroom and in the field has been concluded today for the rugby coaches and referees as TRU's strategy of developing the game in the country. That was sports news, and now before we conclude the news bulletin, let us take a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
The forecast for the next 24 hours from Tanzania Meteorological Authority. Now let's start our weather forecast by looking at wind pattern. The wind is expected to flow at 50 km per hour from south for northern coast and the southern coast. State of the ocean is expected to be rough. Lake Nyasa, the wind is expected to flow at 50 km per hour from south. State of the lake is expected to be rough. Lake Tanganyika, the wind is expected to flow at 40 km per hour from southeast. State of the lake is expected to be rough. Therefore, Tanzania Meteorological Authority issued a warning of strong wind and large wave, especially Lake Tanganyika, Lake Nyasa, northern coast and the southern coast. Please take precaution. Lake Victoria, the wind is expected to flow at 30 km per hour from southeast. State of the lake is expected to be moderate. Lowest minimum temperature is expected to be 5 degrees Celsius over Njombe region. Tonight, most part of the country will experience dry condition. But tomorrow, over Arusha, Kilimanjaro, Tanga, Dar es Salaam, Morogoro, Unguja, Pemba, Njombe, and Mbeya will feature part cloudy condition, light rain shower over few areas and sun period. The remaining part of the country will feature part cloudy condition and sun period. Now let's finish our weather forecast by looking at weather forecast for the 4 days from the day after tomorrow. Thank you very much and have a good night.
And on that note, we're ending our news bulletin. Don't miss our next bulletin in Kiswahili at 11 p.m. I am Faida Ngaga. Good night.
Nakupenda, nakuombea, akulinde, Mola akulinde, alinde mipaka yako.